This is a Sports Catastrophe production. So, this is Lou Holtz. He's one of the most famous college football coaches of all time. You got yourself your Bear Bryans or your Joe Pass or your Woody Hayes, Bo Schembechler, and now the new boys, Nick Saban and I say Dabo Sweeney, but why I say that name is beyond me. Anyway, so Lou Holtz is in this video for one reason and one reason only. It's his birthday today. He was born in West Virginia on January 6th, 1937. It is on this day. A little bit of background on Lou Holtz and all that. He actually was an assistant for many teams, a football assistant. He was assistant for William and Mary from 61 to 63, UConn from 64 to 65, South Carolina for a few years, and yes, he even was an assistant on the 1968 Ohio State Buckeyes team that won a national championship. That's amazing. A giant accomplishment, if you will. So anyway, it would be huge. His first head coach job was at William Mary, which basically is a team in the lower ranks. They got a berth into the Tangerine Bowl in 1970, when basically it was all about the IAA superstars. And then he went to NC State, the coach. Not a bad school and all that, known for having Roman Gabriel at one time. In 4 seasons, he guided them to 33 wins. His first 3 years had teams that ended up in the final top 20 rankings. And even a top 10 finish in the 74 coaches poll. The 73 team won the ACC title and all that. And he won 2 bowl games for the Wolfpack, which is amazing. Lou Holtz almost went to Tulane to be head coach, but he decided to change his mind. And then in 75, after a terrible season, he actually ended up accepting an offer to leave college football and become coach of the New York Jets. Say about New York Jets. So the New York Jets are in town. And they get Lou Holtz. So this coach that basically hasn't done his job, his college football magic at that time. So anyway, he was appointed coach February 10, 1976. He was actually appointed over Johnny Majors, Darryl Rogers, and Marv Levy. I mean, Darryl Rogers, who the heck is that guy? But Johnny Majors, man. They didn't want to, the Jets didn't want the defending national champion coach, and there was Johnny Majors of Pitt. But Johnny Majors would then leave Pitt for other reasons. And then basically, he came back to the college football ranks with Tennessee in 1992. Marv Levy would basically go on to take this rejection well. He got himself into the head coaching job of the Montreal Alouettes and led them to a Grey Cup win in 1977. Yay. Levy would then go on to be head coach of Kansas City and Buffalo. Yay. Holtz actually resigned 10 months later with the Jets at 3-10 and being embarrassing. All that. And with 1 game left. You'd be thinking, hang on a minute. How could there only be 14 games in an NFL season? Well, simple. The NFL only operated on a 14-game season. Before 1978, it was 14 games. So basically put, fireworks went off in 78. The NFL decided to change the playoff format. But a video on that will be coming up in the future. So anyway, after he left, he said God did not put Lou Holtz on this earth to coach in the pros. That was amazing. But yeah, Lou Holtz's Jets were so bad that basically on a Monday Night Football game, he actually tried to change the Jets culture by basically making a New York Jets fight song and Alex Karras, who was a commentator at that time, actually sang the New York Jets fight song. When the win or lose, Jets keep marching along. Do 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 do. Maybe I'll find a YouTube link to it. So yeah. So basically, yeah, Lou Holtz. That was his one and only time he was in the league. So here we go. Okay. That's a good spot. Why does that? 427.
When the game acts like men, work together, win or lose, New York Jets keep rolling along. Isn't that terrific? And the bottom is, and wherever we go, we'll let the critics know that
The Jets are here to stay. You get it. So basically, yeah, that was huge. So yeah, so Holtz jumped to the NFL as head coach for only 13 games. Was one of the worst ever. He went back to college and would never do the NFL again. In fact, this would actually be similar to another head coach who would do such a thing. Bobby Petrino, after leaving the University of Louisville, he went to Atlanta, coached 13 games, and basically left Atlanta high and dry with a sour taste in the mouth, and fled to the University of Arkansas. Well, you know me, I'm a Razorback fan. Pig Sooie. But you know what? Petrino didn't help the Arkansas Razorbacks do that well. So basically, it was just a wasted opportunity. Speaking of the University of Arkansas, guess what? That's where Lou Holtz went, and that's when his magic started at my favorite school of all time. So he got to the University of Arkansas in 1977. In 7 years, the Razorbacks got 60 wins and reached 6 bowl games. Beautiful. In his first season in Arkansas, he got them to the 78 Orange Bowl against the Oklahoma Sooners, who were coached by an alumnus from the University of Arkansas named Barry Switzer. You won't hear the last of him. The Sooners would try to win their third national championship in 4 years after number 1 Texas got shocked in the Cotton Bowl by Notre Dame. So basically, Oklahoma was in position as the number 2 team in the nation to jump in. And Arkansas had some issues too before the game because their All-American guard, Leonidas Harris, got an injury. And then, unfortunately, a few days later, because of a incident in a dormitory, he suspended both starting running backs Ben Cowens and Michael Forrest and a top receiver Donnie Bobo. So basically, Arkansas was pissed off. The team wanted to walk off and basically give Oklahoma a forfeit. But basically, the suspended players told them that it would be stupid and all that. So they played the game, even though they were outmanned and stuff. However, Roland Sales, reserve running back, became a Orange Bowl legend. 205 yards later, the Razorbacks beat those Sooners 31-6. It would be amazing and all that. However, Ohio State was wanting Holtz to succeed Woody Hayes after Woody Hayes' punch on Charlie Bowman in the 78 Gator Bowl. But Holtz said no way. He didn't want to follow an example like Woody Hayes. So he stayed in Arkansas. Oh, by the way, Notre Dame technically, even though they were number 5 in the nation, heading into the 78 on New Year's Day 1978, did win the national championship, kind of, which is strange because all of number 1, 2, 3, and 4 lost same day. So anyway, Holtz led Arkansas to a 10-2 mark in 79 and a share of the Southwest Conference Championship, and even got a good 9-2-1 mark in the Blue Bonnet Bowl against Florida. Unfortunately, after a 6-5 disastrous campaign in '83, he was dismissed. Athletic director Frank Broyles, himself a former Arkansas head coach, stated that Holtz resigned because he was tired and burned out and was not fired. Unfortunately, Broyles, 20 years later, decided to say Holtz was fired because he was losing the fan base with things he said and did. Broyles, just give him a fucking reason. A lot of people said his political involvement was a major reason. Controversy arose over his having taken 2 TV advertisements from his coach's office endorsing the re-election of Jesse Helms as North Carolina senator, at a time in which Helms was trying to block Martin Luther King Day from becoming a national holiday. So basically, yeah. Simpsons even referenced Jesse Helms. Well, if you watch the 22 short films about Springfield episodes, Homer basically looks at a paper saying, Helms approves donut tax. That's probably who he was talking about. This whole blocking Martin Luther King Day from being a national holiday would be a national disaster for the NFL because Arizona blocked it and all that. And so the NFL and Paul Tagliabue decided to make an example and basically push the Super Bowl 27 from Tempe, Arizona to Pasadena, California in the Rose Bowl because of this. Arizona basically realized all these things and the national attention against Arizona, which led to people pulling out of conventions and all that. So basically, Arizona went back to the polls and made Martin Luther King a federal holiday. They got the Super Bowl. They got Super Bowl 30. So, anyway, Holtz decided to go to the University of Minnesota. And I'm thinking to myself, University of Minnesota? Ugh. Since when have they been accurate? Well, he got, in 84, his first season, he only got 4 wins. But 3 of them were in the Big Ten. He guided the team in 85, my birth year, to a 75 mark and got invited to the Independence Bowl when they beat Clemson 2013. Lou did not coach the Gophers at the Independence Bowl because Notre Dame gave him his dream job being the head coach. His contract had a Notre Dame clause that allowed him to leave if the coaching job were to become available. But basically, it was false. Unfortunately, the tenure at Minnesota was not without controversy. Before the 1991 Orange Bowl, the NCAA said that the Holtz era Golden Gophers had recruiting violations. The sanction was a bowl ban in 92 for the Gophers and 2 years of continued probation. Why the heck didn't they just do it like in 1988 or something like that and give them the ban? Fuck. Well, Lou Holtz is now the Notre Dame head coach after Jerry Faust brought Notre Dame into really bad disrepute. In 1986, he left Minnesota to take over the struggling Notre Dame Fighting Irish program. As a taskmaster and strict disciplinarian, it was perfect for Notre Dame because they were supposed to be strict and all that. He decided to remove the names from the back of the players' jerseys, emphasizing team effort. You play for the team, you don't play for the individual on the back. With the exception of select bowl games, names have not been included on Notre Dame's jerseys since. Although his 86 squad was 5-6, just like 85, five of their losses were only by 14 points combined, which is good. Notre Dame actually shocked the USC Trojans by getting a 17-point fourth quarter deficit and pulling off a win. And I believe that ruined USC's chances at the Rose Bowl that year, if memory serves me right. In his second season, Holtz led the Irish to the 1988 Cotton Bowl, although they would be blown out by Texas A&M. However, the 88-89 season was big for Notre Dame. They won all 11 regular season games and beat West Virginia, who were ranked number 3, 34-21, in the Fiesta Bowl to claim the national championship. The 89 squad did well. They won their first 11 games, setting the school record with 23-game winning streak. And they were pretty good at all that. Unfortunately, though, they lost to Miami in the season finale, so that sucked. However, they did take down Colorado in the Orange Bowl to give them second place. And back-to-back 12-win seasons for the first time in school history. Unfortunately, though, Notre Dame and Colorado, that wouldn't be the last time they meet in the Orange Bowl. The next year, the 90-91 season, was when Notre Dame had a chance to be the national champions and could have had the national championship if it wasn't for that phantom offensive block, illegal block penalty. People thought that was pathetic because the guy blocked from the side, which is legal. And Rocket ran it back, that punt return for a touchdown. I didn't reference it on January the 1st. That was put on this day, but I basically said that, I'll do something about the Rose Bowl. Anyway, Holtz's 93 team was huge. They ended up 11-1 with a number 2 ranking in the AP poll. Earlier in that year, Florida State and Notre Dame faced each other 1-2, and it was huge because NBC had the Notre Dame home game rights and would broadcast it. It was an epic with Notre Dame winning 31-24, and Notre Dame had the number 1 seed. Sadly, though, things would be at a head as Notre Dame then the next week at home against Boston College lost on a last-second field goal by David Gordon, if memory serves me right. So Boston College shocked Notre Dame in Notre Dame of all places. Florida State was given the national championship spot in the 93 season after beating Nebraska in the Orange Bowl. Between 88 and 93, Holtz's teams were 64-9-1, which is amazing. He got him to bowl against 9 straight seasons, a Notre Dame record. But following an investigation in 1999, the NCAA placed Notre Dame on 2 years probation for benefits provided to football players between 93 and 99 by a bookkeeper. But the NCAA said that Holtz and members of the staff knew about the violations but didn't make any action. Lou Holtz was given a statue at Notre Dame Stadium in September 2008. A lot of people said that Lou Holtz would leave Notre Dame for the NFL if he had the chance. Minnesota almost replaced, the Vikings almost got Lou Holtz in. However, Holtz denied it. And the Vikings would hire Dennis Green to be their head coach. And it worked out. The Vikings were decent in the mid-90s. So basically, Holtz decided to leave Notre Dame after the 96 season for undisclosed reasons. He had a lifetime contract. Wow. In 96, the Vikings tried to come back to get Lou Holtz to replace Dennis Green. But he didn't do it. He became a commentator for CBS Sports. And then he decided to come out of retirement to the University of South Carolina, where he was an assistant for a few years. The Gamecocks were 1-10 and didn't win a game in Lou Holtz's first season. 0-11, but South Carolina stuck by him and shocked a lot of people by not only winning 8 games to go 8-4, they beat the Ohio State Buckeyes in the Outback Bowl. The 8-game improvement for the previous year was the best in the nation in 2000 and the 3rd biggest in NCAA history, which is pretty amazing, don't you think? His 3rd season, again, South Carolina went to the Outback Bowl, and again they took down Ohio State, which was amazing. However, he couldn't make it last, as 5-7 campaigns in 02 and 03 put Holtz on the hot seat. He did lead South Carolina to a winning record in 2004 at 6-5. Before he came back to South Carolina, the program only had 1 bowl win and no top 25 finishes in the 10 years before his hire. When he exited, South Carolina had 2 top 25 finishes, 2000 and 2001, and made consecutive New Year's Day bowls for the first time in history. Unfortunately, there was another problem. The NCAA imposed 3 years probation and rejections in scholarships on the program for admitted violations under Holtz, meaning improper tutoring and off-season workouts, and a lack of institutional control. Fortunately, though, no games were forfeited and no TV/postseason ban was ever imposed. Holtz decided to retire in November 2004. So, Clemson and South Carolina actually brawled during that game. And that actually led to Lou Holtz ending his career. He almost ended his career in a bowl game, but the two universities had to punish their football programs for their unsportsmanlike conduct things. Holtz said it was ironic that he and Woody Hayes would both be remembered for getting into a fight at a Clemson game. Holtz said that he would assist. Well, he assisted. He assisted South Carolina getting his successor, Steve Spurrier. Steve Spurrier, but so anyway, Lou Holtz is great and all that. Holtz worked for CBS Sports as an analyst and also for ESPN. Basically, he was on the studio team. He's known for his distinguished voice that he hisses and gurgles his words through loose dentures. That. Well, he was ESPN until 2015. Holtz was married to a girl named Beth from 1961 until her death June of 2020. They have 4 children. Their eldest kid, Skip, is the head football coach of Louisiana Tech. All that. So yeah, he was great and all that. Coach. So for NC State, he got them to the 72 Peach Bowl, the 73 Liberty Bowl, the 74 Astro Blue Bonnet Bowl. No, sorry, 70. Well, Astro Blue Bonnet at the Peach Bowl. For Arkansas, it was the 78 Orange Bowl, the 79 Fiesta Bowl, which ended in a disastrous tie, the 80 Sugar Bowl, the 81 Hall of Fame Classic, the 82 Gator Bowl, the 83 Astro Blue Bonnet. Cool. Minnesota won Independence Day, but he didn't coach that one. Notre Dame was the 88 Cotton Bowl, the 89 Fiesta Bowl, the 90 Orange Bowl, the 91 Orange Bowl, the 92 Sugar Bowl, the 93 Cotton Bowl, the 94 Cotton Bowl, the 95 Fiesta Bowl, the 96 Orange Bowl. Okay. So his college football marked 249 wins, 132 losses, 7 ties. Pretty good. And that is very much fantastic. And he's a great coach, and he'll always be a great coach in my mind. I'm Jeff Dunn. Adieu.